Let's do graphic novel week, shall we? And because I'm wired this way, let's start with the most horrible. And that would be It Was the War of the Trenches by Jacques Tardi. What makes this book so good is that he put a ton of work into the research of it, from the uniforms to the strategy to the front lines to letters from the soldiers that are real letters. It's in a very traditional 3-panel style, but as Art Spiegelman says, it is just one of the masterpieces of the graphic novel genre. The despair of every man, the black humor of the trenches, you really get how horrible this war was. And I think that this isn't only worth reading because it's an excellent graphic novel. I think the World War I is worthy of a lot more study than it often gets. I first started looking at World War I because of Dan Carlin's Hardcore History podcast. I listened to his long World War I series, and I started to realize all the similarities to today. For one, nobody saw that war coming, in a sense. I mean, the world was on alert, but that Archduke got assassinated, and all of a sudden, all the dominoes of all those secret alliances fell, and within a month, the entire world was at war, and it was horrible. The other parallel is new types of weapons. Instead of poison gas, we're going to have cyber attacks. And instead of machine guns, we're going to have AI-enabled munitions and all the ways that looks like. And it's going to take the generals at least a year or two to figure out this new type of warfare. And it's going to be a lot of new, weird deaths that happen during that time. And so learning from the past about what the next one's going to look like, I think, is really important. You also get to look at what pacifism was like. It was just such a dirty, terrible thing to be a pacifist, but when you look back, you're like, man, what a waste of time war this was. But you can't say that kind of stuff during the war. Or if you do, you have to be ready to go to jail for it. And so this book is, I think, really, really relevant to today. And the story I'll end with is, if you know the story of Shackleton, the great Antarctic explorer, and how he was lost for such a long time, and they were stranded and had to cross hundreds of miles of open water in an open boat, and it was one of the great survival stories of the last century. And the first question he asked when he finally gets to that little whaling station, the first human outpost, he asked, "Who won the Great War?" And the guy goes, "It never finished. It's worse than ever. It's madness everywhere."